Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore. Wait a minute, this music isn't right, the scene isn't right. Hang on. That's more like it. And now it's time for the show for all creatives. Nevermind the Furthermore. Your source for conversation, inspiration, and fun. With your host, Nicholas Anthony Tockert. He's an artist, a writer, a swordsman, and a game designer. He knows how to use the sword and axe in historical battles without anybody getting hurt too much. He's also the Manatee Man, master of marketing. And he may even have a guest or two. One thing, though, to be certain. Just don't call him a cryptid. With that, it's about time for the show. So sit back, enjoy, and have some coffee and chat with us.
Good morning, Nevermore. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Nicholas Anthony Tockert. And woo, we are knocking it out. Before we get on, let's see if I can pay some bills. First and foremost is our shout out to Joe Bachman Technologies, bit.ly/Joe Bach Tech. He is the reason we are able to have our morning show financially on all these lovely networks where you are seeing it today. We are also made possible by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, the Simple Spear, and the sales of the Big Stompy Robots Core Rulebooks book, and all the related novellas and games and goodness. You may note, I seem a little more extra disaster today. Well, that's because I've been working on my study. Like I said I would. And I had a pop-up meeting with my boy, Luke Stone, talking about his Out of Obscurity project. So, we have that. Let's get into my accountability. This has been an odd one because this weekend we had our a little session of our Friendsgiving where we had a few people over to enjoy the joy that is camaraderie. Joe Bachman, Trelana Bachman, James Robertson, and my brother Richard, Ricky. They showed up. We had a splendid time. They weren't sure they'd get to see me, so they dropped off some presents, and they were incredibly generous, and it was completely unexpected. And I will be doing a whole breakdown on some of that because sometimes you get handed something and it's a friend thinking of you and it reminds you of who and what you are. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know if this has ever happened, but you're in the art funk, and the one of the bad ones where what you're trying to do isn't, and you just can't even look at it, and you feel like, am I still an artist if I can't art? And you cycle through that, and then somebody gives you a really nice, here's a pen, or here's a new sketchbook. I haven't seen you draw much lately, and it moves you, and it forces you to think, and you're like, wow. Because I do suffer from self-esteem driven imposter syndrome, like it's nobody's business. My levels of what I feel like I'm an imposter at involve things like humanity, functional adult, things like that. I'm over here faking being an author and artist and all that. Although I am. I mean, it's been done. I just don't know if it's ever enough. So having the kind of people who will come into your life and remind you, yeah, you are more than just the service you provide is very, very, very important. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. Now, as for accountability, boy, did I have fun. I have a lot of art accountability because yesterday I was doing the thumbnails for these videos. So I hope you enjoy the thumbnail art. Sometime during the weekend, usually in the afternoons, I do one of my programs, Art Time with Nick, where I draw the thumbnails that I do for this, and then if I have time, I draw things that I need to do. It opened up with, I have a new little corner portrait so that when I'm drawing, I don't have to run the camera, so it makes it a little less stress on my system and on my feed. And I got that done. It came out pretty well, and we did some great drawings. And then I drew a centaur for the first time. Never drawn a standardish centaur ever. I've drawn like driders, which are spider centaurs and stuff, but I've never, to the best of my knowledge, drawn a centaur. So I got challenged to do so and did so and had a very good time doing it. You have to push yourself both artistically and literarily. This week's plan, once I am done with this, I go back to working on the study, and then I want to attack the formatting problems because I had to re-download Kindle Create. So that hopefully I can take the file, put it into that, and tweak in that, and fix whatever's going wrong with Art and Tales, my art anthology. So we want to get that fixed. I have writing on my horror anthology. That'll be the second one I hope to get out. Nice little spooky novella, and then I have a couple line projects. A couple projects that are vying for third place, and I have about a week reliably to get those done before things get a little zany. So maybe two. I'm going to be a very, very busy little fat man hobbling at high speed. So that's going on. Let's get into the comments, see what you guys are up to. And I do have Hawaiian print. I would be wearing it, except I sweat soaked it working this morning. So yeah, that's not going to be a thing. I also completely misplaced my breakfast, so it's going to be one of those videos. How's everybody doing in the chat? Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes, accountability. I wrote a little, but mostly out of guilt, but it got done a bit. That counts. Oh, yeah, I also have been working in my little orange book project. Ooh, almost forgot about that. Hello there. Hello, Blue Teddy Nurshits. Good morning, Blue Teddy. Good to see you. Hope you had fun on the art stream. Hey, Don and Blue. Working on it, so eventually, yeah, that's where we are. Hi, Blue Teddy. From the desk of Small Press Publisher. Call Nick the high jumper because he is so over it. Yes, this is a $1 t-shirt I found at Walmart. Actually, my wife found it at Walmart, and I have swiped it because it fits both of us. It's a guy shirt. I have no qualms with it because this is today. Today is a so over it kind of day. Hey, Joe. Oh, wait, we have Joe. And if we have Joe in the chat, we have to run his ad because, of course, we have to run his ad. Give me just a moment. Because here on NTF, Nevermind the Furthermore, we are joined by Joe D. McPhee.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. And I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
And we are back in time so that when I run a proper ad, I can ingest something and not have a blood sugar crash. It's been a morning. Last week was a week of Mondays. This week is trying to be, but I deny it. Do you understand that? I rebuke that level of Mondaydom. It's not happening. I'm just not letting that be a thing, because we do not need that to be a thing. We need things to be a little more mellow, and we're going to make it mellow because that's what happens. Let's see. Hey, Joe. Morning, friends and fiends. Good morning, Richie. I want to thank Richie for taking over my assorted evening duties across several late night programs. I don't get to watch much YouTube anymore because I spend so much time streaming to YouTube. And when I'm not working, I am parenting or just trying to stay, fed, sane. Let's see what we got. Accountability. Thank you so much for those who attended this week's show. Your input helped me guide the direction for From the Desk coming in 2023. I appreciate that. Wonderful. I'm glad you're getting good support. Hey, Jody and Rich. Morning, Carl, Donna, Rich, and Blue Teddy. Everybody's getting greetings. Accountability. Ooh. The 6 shorts for the anthology are off to the editor. Yes. More crawling through research for Where the Where and Restart a Story challenge issued by Dan Hollifield. Now, you better, if he issues you a challenge, you better meet it and exceed it, because that's Dan freaking Hollifield, not to be taken lightly. Good morning, kids. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Yes, it was a very good weekend. There's Rich. Hello, Grant. Hey, Grant. Hey, Carl. We got a whole bunch of greetings. Rich, where? That jerk owes me money. I'm going to be in and out of chat because I'm making breakfast for the wife and me. You know what? If you're hanging out with your wife, it's okay. You can catch the rerun. Family's more important than my chat. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I realize that might be shooting myself in the foot, but I'd rather endorse what I believe to be the moral thing than endorse the profitable thing. Sorry. Bam. Hey, Donna. Oops, nearly forgot to put my like on the video. Yeah, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Because, as you know, I am both fighting the algorithm, and I want to get subscription numbers up on this simply because I want both my channels to be on par. I want them to be balanced. I do a lot on this channel. I do very niche things on the other channel. So please like and share and subscribe. And we're talking about things to like, share, and subscribe to. Radio Retro Future. Hey, Bonser. Hey, chat. We got him through the door. So let's do one of his ads real quick. Yeah, we'll do this one.
Greetings, fellow traveler, and welcome to the Association of Ishtar, a multiverse of cosmic mystery and steampunk adventure. The Association of Ishtar is a clandestine organization of volunteers investigating anomalies called rifts, portals to other worlds where anything is possible. Most of these planes are but savage variations of Earth, but some are home to advanced civilizations or the occasional alien beings beyond human comprehension. Every day, these brave men and women are risking their lives by crossing the fringes of reality. Should they succumb, they will die in obscurity. But it's not the Associate's vocation to perish, but to seek out and gather information on the copious threats lurking beyond the rifts to ensure humanity can overcome. After all, those who pry prevail.
And that's the amazing association of our wonderful project. Now, guys, let's take a second here and let's step back from the business. We are coming into both the winter, many of the winter holidays. They're the ones I celebrate, the ones I don't, and those around me that some people celebrate. In your writing, guys, do you use the holidays? I mean, are there a few of you right now just sipping hot cocoa and banging out the next Hallmark romantic little story, or the next Santa Stein, the post-holiday Prometheus by Brian K. Morris? How do you incorporate the holidays into your works? Now, it's rare for me to write around the holidays. I tend to be very busy at the end of the year. But I think if you're building a world, you need to include holidays because that's part of the world building. And if you're running a established world, you have to think about how, if it's set in our setting, the holidays that your players, sorry, my DM came screaming to the front, your characters are bumping into. Oh, you considered it. No inspiration. Did write a story for Halloween once. Oh, very good. I have a couple Halloween theme-ish stories that I'm tweaking for my horror anthology. Honestly, in your case, Anwin having Anwin's first Christmas could be absolutely delightful. Because, how a cute sentient doll can express holiday cheers could be it could be a real thing to talk about. Now, I bring this up because I try to keep writer and art inspiration flowing. And Donna Carly, and greeting Bonzert, greeting Donna, and 8 watching, 5 likes. You guys know who you are. Like and share. Yeah. But please like this. Please share it because, I'm about helping people become better authors, better writers. And a lot of times, instead of me just telling you, do this, because there are a lot of people, most of the people in my feed could open a show and go, how to be a better writer, do this. And people would improve. I am not, it was for a video that nobody watched, and then you shared a link. Well, maybe people will watch that now, folks. Follow that link. Somebody when you get a chance, watch it. Tell me what you think. We also have to, it's hard for those of us in the creation grind, trying to put content out there, because sometimes you don't feel rewarded, but do it anyway and make it full figure. Make sure it has full feature. Make sure it has what things that get back, because people will eventually go back. It happens. And you never know when a video will go viral. I've had one viral video in my whole life, and I did not profit from it because I believed it would be in bad taste. I just happened to be one of the first people to make a video on Stanley Has Passed. And that blew my algorithm out of the water. But I won't chase the trends, but I want to talk about what's going on. And with the holidays, it can be challenging. But think about it. What do especially for your fantasy authors, your sci-fi authors, holidays are at least a human thing. And I mean, don't ask me. I'm not pure human. I've got enough Neanderthal DNA that I almost have the memories. But I think it's important to have things we celebrate and why they celebrate. And when you're doing a fictional world from the ground up, remember, you get to add those. Even if they're basic, simple, a spring celebration, building around lunar cycles or something like that is a great way to give you a format, but that's going to add life and vitality to your world. Let's see. Blue Teddy says, most of writing energy around the holidays goes into writing sappy letters to friends and family, but I do like adding yearly festivals and such to world building. Exactly. I'm an old anime fan, so I love the summer festival trope where they get, it's not a kimono, a yakuta. I may be mispronouncing it, it's been a while, but they get fancy dress and they go down and they try to catch fish in little nets and they have treats and stuff and their lanterns, and it's just delightful. I love that sort of thing. I love festivals that seem to happen for no reason. Or everybody's got the day off, so let's have a blues festival or a bluegrass festival. That's a local thing for me. And folks can come out and have a great time. These kind of activities that bring people together are so vital. And they can affect a character. They can affect events because, and it is a horrific gut punch, but if you're writing a story and you're going to do something monumental to a character, having it happen around a holiday does give an extra emotional oomph to it and an association. And remember, I believe in what are called personal holidays. There are a couple days of the year that I either celebrate or I remember. And I have a retail worker's take on standard holidays where you rarely are, when you've worked retail or you've worked, something like caregiving, rarely are you off for the holiday on the holiday that everyone else observes. So a lot of things are mobile. But you also, I usually take the worst day of my life off from everybody. I've been working about, instead being around friends and having a good time to try to distract myself. I have mixed opinions on my birthday. Well, birthday is a personal holiday. It is you. It's not the world doesn't, necessarily care that much about your birthday. But it does, when you have events in your life that you remember, you have to let yourself have those. And from having that, your characters should have that. Let's see. Wow, that's exactly what I asked the watchers of my show to a degree. I wanted to avoid some of the normal trapping to keep an audience. I don't want to be an angry rant guy or a trend chaser. I have to keep interesting things going on, whether it be what I'm developing or what's just happening around me. Exactly. That's how content should be created. I like to have conversation. This is an author artist talk program where I chat with the chat. Let's see. Considering the question for arcology, but that city has no seasons and no relatable history. That city does, but arcology has all those people who have come to it. So instead of having fixed holidays where it would be national, I would think anytime you have a hodgepodge of cultures, you'd have holidays that meant something to them. What I mean is use like the New York New York, when it's described, wow, has some parallels with arcology, but it has many, many, many people from different uh, cultures, different histories, different backgrounds, and many of them clump up into this is, Chinatown, this is Greek town, this is Little Budapest, whatever. And in each one of them, they celebrate very often the holidays of their culture. So, Chinese New Year would be a big thing. You know, when you have a diverse population in your writing of people with different backgrounds, that's a great way to express their background. It's also a great way to add depth to the outsider character. Okay, this isn't really canon, but it's a good way to look at it. When you have an outsider character, take Teal'c from Stargate SG-1. This is a guy who was raised on another planet. He lived on another planet, had his deities proved to be false aliens, whatever, and got moved to Earth. How is he going to respond to, say, a Christmas celebration or a or a more obscure holiday like St. Patrick's Day or the 4th of July? Does he have any holidays relative to his background that he still celebrates or is inclined to? Maybe he has the memory, maybe the first day that he, when he came to Earth becomes a sort of birthday anniversary kind of thing like that. There's options, what one that's grim is Batman's tendency to go to Crime Alley on the day that his parents died, or the inverse in I think it's in Elseworlds, but the one where Thomas Wayne becomes Batman and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker. Despite their epic battles, they still meet on the night annually on the night of their son's death in Crime Alley. Holidays don't have to be a happy thing, but they are present, they are real, and they are sociologically and psychologically very powerful. So you want to tap into that in your writing and in your art. I tend to do a lot of fun art. I'm very pleased, around Christmas. I like to do some fun stuff. Call it cliche. I like Thomas Kincaid paintings, the ones where it's playing with light and it's very soft, and people tend to put them on plates and tins and stuff. I enjoy that artistically because when I look at it, I can feel that it's telling a story. Yes, thank you. Flashpoint as well as Elseworlds for Thomas and Martha Wayne. Thank you, Jody. But you get the point. That's a personal holiday to them. They don't really talk about it to anybody else. They don't have to. It's not for everybody else, but it adds character. Something like that can be really powerful, especially for a character who overtly doesn't seem like they have a lot of depth, or a character that you don't want to do the "I'm a rogue because my family was killed" style backstory all the time. I mean, it's fun, but that doesn't have much power. But now the happy cleric healer heart of the party, the person who keeps everybody buoyant all the time and is there to give comfort, going to deal with something personal, that you don't think of till it hits, and it just opens up a beauty, a tragic beauty in a character. What is it? Days in Bossing Say. There's a mini arc in the middle of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, where all the characters are in the city of Ba Sing Se. And they all get kind of a little feature story. And it's neat. And one of those is called Iroh's story. And it shows him wandering. And he does some funny things like give fighting advice to a would-be teacher who fell on hard times and poorly tried banditry. He plays a song for a crying baby. He does all these little things on his way to a spot. And the spot he's going to is this tree where he sets up to celebrate the birthday of his dead son. And the song he'd been singing in different points throughout the show, he sings, and it's sung by the voice actor of Iroh and the one who sang it, a gentleman named Mako. And he was literally dying. He was very, very ill, and he knew he would not live much longer. So there was this tremendous sorrow in it. In the performance, and I'm sorry, I'm a soft enough guy that thinking about that makes me want to get a little misty. I get sniffly at least, because it's such a powerful performance. And you see this character who had a transformative youth and adulthood before he became who he is now, and he's a very light character. He's a very compassion, joy, love, peace. He's talking about these things. He's a bad mofo, but that's what he's leaning toward. And you have to see, in that you see the trauma of what would take somebody who was a powerful general and turn them into that. And because it's literally, for the purpose of this conversation, a personal holiday. A true, and not just, remember, a holy day. There are holidays we talk about, holidays we don't. And holidays we try not to think of. Memorial Day. People don't like to think about Memorial Day. They don't. They think about the barbecue and what they do, but they forget the cost because it's easier, except for the people who can't forget the cost. That's depth. And at the same time, you can have absolutely absurd little holidays or cultural tweaks, and these little cultural tweaks are what makes a character have a character, what makes a culture feel real, ranging from welcome mats to the little Chinese lucky cats to Vietnamese mirrors on doors. There are all these little tweaks and stories and superstitions that are real to a culture, and all that feeds into how you make a world feel alive, because these things happen. And what you do is you figure out the dates and travel of your world, and you set the holidays to happen. And then whatever's going on, the holiday happens. And the real trick, the deucedly hard trick, is you do it when it's not necessarily dramatically a thing or appropriate. Okay? You don't have to have, it's Valentine's Day, so two lovers must fall in love. No, you don't have to do. Have a lovers holiday pop up and have every character that's involved have nothing to do with, oh God, it's that. We're going through, we're solving this case. Having Thanksgiving hit at a time where maybe one set of characters have something really good going and one set of characters have real problems, and juxtaposing how they approach a harvest thankfulness celebration. This will let you have some depth. So I ask you what you have, and if not, jot it down. Think of some holidays. Come to think of it, that archetype always seems to start from a place of privilege as opposed to an everyman type. No, not necessarily. If you're talking the IRO kind support one, not always. Nick, I still want to hear your idea for Full Metal Muppet. Oh, God. Okay. Premise and thoughts. There is an animate doll, a little doll about yay tall, very cute. Kind of looks like an old Raggedy Ann-ish doll. I don't know if anybody here is young enough to not know that or old enough to know what I'm talking about, but it's a cute little doll. And in the Association of Ishtar universe, thing is, it is alive, and there is no, to the best of my knowledge, life expectancy as long as it survives. I don't believe it needs to eat. I don't believe it needs to breathe. This means a Full Metal Muppet could be the pilot for any number of monstrous devices, especially if something goes wrong to the Muppets, the little puppet's caretaker. A little puppet basically going Hulkbuster on a problem could be delightful. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to give too much because I don't want to take away from the story concept. But yeah, there are options. Anytime you have no matter how light and fluffy the beginning, a ageless sentient being without a lot of limitations, say for the core is a little plastic. A little plastic is a little cloth basic doll that you could get horrifying or amazing with that. So just let it run that way. Good morning, nerds, Nick, and strangers. Good morning. I assume that's our amazing friend Nita Lanning over at Indie Comics Network, where, she is the sultana of the shill show, the matriarch of marketing, the sorceress of sales. I got you. But people define privilege different. When you look at having access to resources they need, characters like Bruce Wayne and Frank Castle fit the view for that. And there's impact from taking a wealthy, powerful person, having them lose what they care about, having them come unhinged isn't quite right, but go on this crusade. There's a different energy for someone who during the French Indian War in America, there were people who lost their homes. They were raided. And it wasn't uncommon to have somebody have their wife and son killed. And, actually, you know what? Better one. We're going to go Revolutionary War. That way I don't offend anybody. During the Revolutionary War, there was a blacksmith. And this blacksmith overheard a plan by Tories, people who still supported England, to waylay Washington, to ambush him. And he ran out and he told Washington that he's going to get ambushed. Well, while he was out, they realized what he was doing and they couldn't stop him, so they killed his family. And at the Battle of Brandywine, which the Americans lost, but there was said in the lines among all the people in armor and in not armor and uniform, there was one huge man with a hammer, and he had a pile of redcoats around him before he went down. There's a song about it, Blacksmith of Brandywine, fabulous song. There is room for the avenging everyman, but the avenging everyman usually doesn't have the skill set without having to go acquire it. Frank Castle had the skill set and manifested it, much like my wife and I. Mandy asked what she wanted to see. She's like, I want to see that movie I saw, an old movie I saw the clip from. I'm like, okay, what's it called? The Substitute. I have a very cool wife. And we watched the first Substitute movie. And I guess there are like 4 of them. That was fun. So you have that. And he was, a powerful mercenary, military trained individual who posed as a teacher and basically took down drug lords. So it's a great mid-90s movie. 96, ironically. I think the setting might have been a little earlier in the 90s than when it was filmed, but it works. So you have that set. Bruce, he did not have the skills, but it happened young and he had the resources to acquire the skills. And he had, through either innate personality or trauma response, the tenacity and the determination to become Batman. It does make me wonder about him if his parents hadn't died, but that's a story for another time. And yes, definitely consider that our idea. And yes, she just needs access to power outlets, and it just takes time. Because it doesn't have to happen now. It could be months or years or decades along your timeline. There could be an staggeringly powerful unknown associate of Ishtar.com. Just this billowing force, this massive behemoth of a force. It could be a man in armor. And then as the story goes on, you reveal, yeah, it's her. She's just pulling the Men in Black aliens thing. Options, run with it. Hey, Nita. Yeah, everybody's glad to see Nita. Nita, you need to send me a little plug for your channel so I can promote your stuff. Morning, Donna. Nah, I'm just a shit talker with tits. Okay, Nita. I want to get Nita on the show. I want Nita on the show talking about what she does some Wednesday when we're not going to interrupt her on her other show because she scares me. I need to block this out. There we go. Nothing too going on. Yes. If not that, then it would give more story where characters would work their way to have the means to get exactly. Now you get something a lot like the Count of Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo is one of my favorite sandwiches. Monte Cristo is one of my favorite books, where you have somebody dedicated to revenge and building it up. It's interesting. A new one. Please share. And yes, what would I say, LOL? Look, Nita, you've been involved in more Kickstarters, crowdfunders than anyone I know, but from the promotion side, from the creation, from running them, you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. You also do more promotion for other people than I know. And let me tell you something about artists, guys, artists and writers. What we want to be able to write and draw and make things and get paid. And very often we don't care how connected these two things are. At least for me, I want to create and tell stories. I'd like people to enjoy them, and I'd like money because money lets me create and do things. It's a neat cycle. But friends, when you are a one-man show like I usually am, you have to be writer, editor, publisher sometimes. And that I've been publisher, I've been printer, I've been promoter. The old school where you buy your own paper, you buy your comb binder, you write your stuff, you print your stuff, you comb bind your stuff, you drive it, and you sell it wherever you can. I have been there. I have done that from the ground up. But many, many writers have no idea how to promote, how to talk about their stuff, how to promote others. What would you like? We got bacon. Oh, see, Grant's trying to get me to get you over to Nerd Bacon over at Luke Stone's channel. That'd be on a Thursday. Now I'd have to clear that with Luke, but like I said, I would love, because I try to be a service. Oh, it's turkey bacon, but it's not better than nothing. Oh, you have literal bacon. I like turkey bacon. It isn't bacon; it's turkey bacon, but it's still very good. Bacon is always fun, but yeah, no, I want to hear, because what you do, others fail to or cannot. I see people emulate your model sometimes. They try to build networks and they fail. Sometimes they build networks and succeed. But you do a lot and you've seen a lot. But every time I see you, you're always like, I'm going to stand way back here, and then I'm going to have somebody way up here, and they're important. Mooney clearly wants it. Of course Mooney wants it. It's bacon. The only reason my cats aren't out playing is because Xander's still sick, so they can't be running around. And they keep trying to go downstairs, which is not kosher compatible right now. Mooney clearly wants it. See, now I want some bacon. Shoot. But that being said, I would love, seriously, and guys, weigh in. Do you want me to try to have Nita on the show talking about what she does and her background, more of her story? Because I've had the privilege of having some late night conversations with Nita Lanning, and late morning conversations, because it would be after Nerd Bacon for a while there before there was a divide. That's all above my pay grade. I'm just a bro host. I want to promote the people who are working. Okay? Because the people who are working very often don't get any credit. I thought you were going to weigh in on whether or not you want bacon. I just want bacon. Maybe one day. LOL, I've been summoned now. Well, of course, now. That's why I said a Wednesday when you're not summoned by Daphne, who's also beautiful and terrifying. That's also a hint for me not to go too late into their show, which is fine. I haven't run a commercial in a while, so I'm going to run a commercial real quick. Give you guys a chance to say something. And I'm going to hook up Cindy Koepp because she's awesome.
Author Cindy Koepp is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Koepp at CKOEPP.com today.
Looks at Nita and withholds his vote. It depends on if she wants to do it. We want Nita. See, as soon as she leaves, you guys are chanting, we want Nita. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I'm 51, so in about between 7 and 10 minutes, I'm going to cut the show. And when I do, I want you to go over to the vlog. If you are mature enough, adult, and in a place where it's not usually safe to work for whatever they're discussing, right? And then be like, we want Nita. And I just like, not just like say you want her on the show, but build her up because she needs that and she's uncomfortable with it. So, make sure she feels the love. I got a direct, let's see, on that vote setting, I just got a DM. Let me look at it because it's buzzing. One vote for Lady Mechanica. You know who you are who did that. And somebody's poking fun at both me and Jody McVie. But we want Nita. Yeah, see, I want to highlight people who aren't highlighted. And Nita's one of those people who is a great supporter. Thanks for a good show, though I didn't see it all. Oh, you're welcome. I still have a little bit. Still have some spots this month on my podcast. Would you be interested to talk holidays and world building on a Wednesday? Possibly. Send me the time and I will see what I'm doing because I am kind of compressed in some of my deadlines coming up. So we'll see. But I'd be willing to talk about it. But that all being said, guys, are you anybody else have anything interesting they want to share this morning? Because it's been a very quiet morning for you guys. You guys are usually spicier than this. Again, I got to find no new Joe Benitez work. I don't think he put out a new series. Oh, I know that. Somebody was trolling me. But and see, there was a webcomic, and I don't know if it's still out there. It was Lady Sable of the Ineffable Ether, which was sort of Lady Mechanica meets Treasure Planet. It was a great series. I read a lot of webcomics. Especially like in college. I fell in absolute love with a whole lot of webcomics. And I miss them. Sorry, too sick to be spicy. Well, Blue Teddy, you're always sweet. You don't need to. If you are ever feeling spicy, that's fine. But you're sweet enough. You don't need to worry about that, hon. And we could have just a mellow Monday, folks. I do try to keep my broadcasts to at least an hour because I think that's what I consider quality and fair. And once I'm done with this, I will finish my breakfast, check on little man and the cats, and then work on my study and some more writing. I may do some art if I get really frisky. Well, it is Monday after all. Exactly. And I am so over it. Just today, I'm not coming with my usual energy. I will say that. And that's okay. This has been a bit of a run. I'm not myself when my kid is sick. I worry, and I have a lot of sick people in my world right now. And, we talk holidays. I'm one of those people who love holidays, but I feel the pressure, and I have a lot of mixed associations with certain holidays. So I'm a fairly empathic person, okay, by my nature and mechanically. So the holidays can be complex, especially with the sort of prevailing winds of emotion out in the, borrowing the term, the ether around us. That's why I never go out early on Black Friday. I made that mistake once. It was like listening to a violent speech. Everybody was so angry and grabby, and I did not like it. Not one bit. But I do like to go to Black Friday after things have been mostly ransacked, because the stuff I'm usually interested in isn't mainstream enough that people want it. So I can enjoy that. It's like I like to go to a mall around Christmas. I used to go on Christmas Eve with my nephew George. We would go shopping, and it was part of the Christmas Eve day. Originally, it was while my wife was making the big dinner. She'd be busy, and I didn't have a kid at the time, so I'd go shopping with George on Christmas Eve. And the problem is it took longer and progressively longer, and it got to the point where, I've got a kid, I'd rather be home than that. So we kind of had to break that tradition. And it's sad because sometimes you have to. But it was nice to just feel the energy. Now, I get into it after the holiday usually. And unfortunately, enough people have realized that they'll try to interfere with my revelry. Because sometimes if people know when you're happy, they will go out of their way to amend that. And it's a terrible thing, but it's also unpleasantly common. So you have to, it goes back to personal holidays. You have to find those. And I think us writers, go look up when you first published, date of publication. Celebrate that, because we need to celebrate our works, and we need to remember what made you. Because one thing for me, because of my imposter syndrome and my memory loss issues, I can't always bring up the memory of what I've done. So it will feel like I've wasted constantly huge amounts of my time. Not because I have, but because I can't remember. Oh, wait, yeah, I published that. Oh, yeah, I did that. And I did that, and I've been there, and all this. Think about you. Think about the nifty things you've done that you don't actively think about. Because it'll help you remember just how cool you are. Because the world will try to tell you you're not. The world will try to tell you you don't matter. It's a system built by sociopaths and narcissists. And we have to harden ourselves in certain ways against it. And I don't mean harden your heart. Never harden your heart if you can avoid it. Stay gentle, stay loving. But don't be afraid to remember, yeah, I have done this. That's how you fight imposter syndrome. Look at your accomplishments. Sometimes you just have to look And I need to build up my, for lack of a better word, creative resume. Get everything I've done on a piece of paper so I can look at it. You guys do that. Think about that. Because it is important to remember where you are, where you came from. It's also important, friends, to keep creating, because as long as you are creating, you have something you can edit, something you can improve, something you can fix. But if you don't, at the end of the day, you can't edit a blank page. Oh, hello. And right as I was about to leave, hello, Michaela. I didn't think we'd get you this morning. Who's typing away and forgot that it was Monday? This girl. Oh, hey, you know what? That's a heck of accountability, darling. We were about to sign off to let folks go to see Nita and Daphne and try to bug Nita into coming forward more about her own awesomeness. So I'm trying to promote that, but you keep your hard work up. I'm glad to hear it. God, I literally was about to click the end broadcast button when Michaela popped up. So Michaela, we love you, and I am going to click that because I said I would, and I tried to be a man of my word. So we will see you Wednesday for the next episode of Nevermind the Furthermore, right here at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. Guys, keep creating.